Welcome to this Quick Take Rapid Learning module. Today's topic, how to help reps bounce back after a failure. Most every sales manager has seen it. Salespeople who lost sure-thing accounts because they didn't listen, said something that angered a customer, or misjudged a prospect's flexibility on price. Some salespeople bounce back from painful losses with grit and resolve. Others feel crushed, lose confidence, and stop doing the things that made them successful. Otherwise talented reps may even quit, which can put customer relationships at risk and leave you short-handed. As a manager and coach, how you communicate with reps can have a huge influence on their performance. So what's the best way to build resilience in your salespeople when they've suffered a big loss? What messaging can you use to help them climb back on the horse? In this quick take, you will learn what works to help salespeople recover from failure and what doesn't work, how you can encourage reps to forgive themselves for failing while still holding them accountable, and a 3-step model you can apply to help reps bounce back. Let's start by looking at what doesn't work to help salespeople recover after a failure, building up their self-image. You'd think the best way to restore a rep's confidence would be to help them feel better about themselves. You're talented and you work hard, you might say. You've succeeded in the past, and I know you will in the future. This kind of pep talk, which you may have noticed avoids any reference to the failure, doesn't do any harm, but a research study on how messaging influences motivation suggests that it probably doesn't do much good either. The research comes out of the University of California, Berkeley. At the beginning of an experiment, participants were given a difficult test designed to elicit a high failure rate. The researchers wanted to see how these failures would affect the participants' motivation to study for a subsequent exam. After taking the test, a control group was simply given the results of their test scores. With another group, the researchers also gave feedback aimed at bolstering their self-image, such as, "You must be intelligent if you got into Berkeley." These comments, what the lead researcher called outside validation, had little effect on the participants' motivation compared with the control group. But another type of statement proved to be far more motivational. With the third group, researchers acknowledged the failure, but encouraged participants to be kind to themselves. They used such phrases as, "If you had difficulty with the test you just took, you're not alone," and "Try not to be too hard on yourself," and "It's common for people to have difficulty with tests like these." Compared with people who'd received the outside validation, essentially a pep talk, those who were encouraged to forgive themselves were more motivated to study for the next exam. In fact, they spent an average of 33% more time hitting the books and performed 6% better on the follow-up exam. So why was the self-forgiveness message effective? According to lead researcher Julia Brynas, people who were taught to be kind to themselves felt more motivated to see their mistakes as a chance for growth. Outside validation didn't seem to matter as much. But wait a minute, is it really a good idea to let people off the hook when they fail? What happens to accountability? Well, if you look closely at the study, you'll see that the researchers didn't let anyone off the hook. They acknowledged the failures. In fact, self-forgiveness requires people to accept that they failed. A pep talk, by contrast, can gloss over failures. It can imply that the mistakes didn't matter much, or was something that just happened. But neither of these things are likely to be true, and the employee knows it. And by minimizing failures, you make them harder to examine, so they're more likely to happen again. The magic of the self-compassion technique is that it allows people to accept that they made a mistake without being demotivated by it. For a coach whose job is to sustain motivation, the difference between outside motivation that sidesteps the mistake and self-forgiveness, which acknowledges the mistake but makes it part of the learning process, is subtle but very powerful. Here's a 3-step model you can use to help your reps quickly recover from mistakes and get back on track. Acceptance. Reps need to face up to the fact that they made mistakes. Of course, some sales are lost through no fault on the part of the salesperson, but when reps are at fault, help them own the failure. Forgiveness. Encourage salespeople to forgive themselves, using language similar to that used in the study. Say things like, "Sales is a tough game. You're not the only one who's lost a sale at the last minute." Or simply, "Try not to beat yourself up too much over this." Planning. Finally, help reps plan the way forward to figure out what they can do to fix the damage if possible and how to avoid making a similar mistake next time. You might say, "So, let's talk about what you'll do differently next time this situation comes up." Let's review what we've learned in this quick take. External validation, the classic pep talk, doesn't help salespeople rebound after a failure. What does build resilience is getting reps to acknowledge mistakes, forgive themselves, and move forward with a plan to get it right next time. Thanks for watching. Now return to the program page and take the quiz. Also, please take 15 seconds to click on the survey link and fill out an evaluation of this program.